Alright, so we got an interview from the Jay-Z Accuser. A very interesting video. As well as we have her father commenting on the situation. Very interesting. I made this video a few days ago and I want to make this video as soon as possible so that I can say what I want to say. Make sure I'm giving you guys the full story, not, slandering Jay-Z and that. Not saying that Jay-Z is completely innocent of everything, we don't know. But as far as this goes, you'll see in a minute if you haven't seen this interview. Before we begin though, if you like the content, subscribe. I just did a video on John Jones and Tom Asno. Tom Asno is in agreement that he wants to get paid for the Jones fight as well. Very interesting, so go check that out. Without further ado, let's jump into this. Fucking poster. We're gonna watch this video, we're gonna read the article, then we're gonna talk about this case, because we know that this whole situation with Diddy it's disgusting, man. We're gonna hear about it more and more as we go on, but yeah, let's get into this. Like I said, we'll watch the video first, read the article, and yeah.
You should always advocate for yourself and be a voice for yourself. You should never let what somebody else did run your life.
A 38-year-old mother from Alabama who has filed a lawsuit accusing Sean Diddy Combs and Jay-Z of raping her when she was 13 years old is speaking out to NBC News for the first time. She asked us not to reveal her identity.
What made you want to come forward and talk today?
Because I think that I've been quiet long enough about what I've been through, and it's been hard enough to be quiet. But it's a chapter of my life that I'd like to close.
An NBC News review of her account found inconsistencies with her allegations. She says that she went to the MTV Video Music Awards in 2000 to catch a glimpse of her favorite celebrities.
You weren't scared to be all alone?
No, with having autism is like feeling like you live your life in a shatterproof juggle ball.
Okay, I don't know what version of autism she has. That is not what living with autism is like. I'm not diagnosed. I'm pretty sure I have autism. I feel like the internet has given everybody autism. But typically people who are autistic, some are very extroverted, but a lot of the times it is an anxiety-driven condition. At least for me and my family members that have it. But yeah, we're not even at the part where her father gives his comments, which is a very interesting part to this.
The world's on fire. The fire is inside the ball with you, but there's no way for you to get out.
In addition to having autism, the woman says she suffered a head injury. The night of the 2000s VMAs, she says a friend drove her from Rochester, New York to Manhattan, a more than 5-hour drive.
Okay, what friend, one, has a car for a 13-year-old, and what friend is going to drive their friend, their underage friend, who is 13, 5 hours to New York City from Rochester, New York? Can somebody explain that to me?
Her attorney provided NBC News with the name of the friend who has since died. The woman says she spoke to Combs' limo driver.
I don't want to be that guy, but I'm going to say that it's kind of convenient that her friend passed away, so they can't comment on this.
Who offered her a ride to an after party.
I stumbled upon Diddy's driver, who told me that I was exactly what Diddy was looking for.
What did you think when he said that to you?
I thought it meant that I was just pretty.
She went to a White House, she says, where she spoke to musicians Benji Madden and his brother.
I'm talking to Benji Madden about his tattoo because, I have about his tattoo that's the Last Supper, because I have a religious background. So it was just something to talk about.
In a statement to NBC News, a representative of the Maddens confirmed that they did not attend the 2000 VMAs and that they were on tour in the Midwest at the time.
All right, so that point right there. Again, it's not the biggest point, but it is a point to note that these guys weren't there at the VMAs when she claimed to have met them. Alright?
At the after party, she says she had a drink that made her feel woozy. Then she says Combs and Carter took turns raping her while a female celebrity watched.
Jay-Z comes in and rapes me. He at that point I was fighting, trying to get away from him, and he put his hand over my mouth and told me to stop it, cut the.
After the alleged rape, she says she ran to a gas station where she called her father, who picked her up and drove her home.
We rode home in silence. He didn't ask me.
Okay, so her father did a 5-hour drive, picked her up, and said nothing during this car ride. Again, a 5-hour drive. 5-hour drive.
Me what happened. He didn't ask me what I did or where I was.
In an interview with NBC News,
How the fuck does a father not ask you, hey, how did that 5-hour drive to across New York go? Like, how is that not a conversation? And again, how does he miraculously make a 5-hour drive at what I'm assuming is like 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning? This is late at night.
her father said he could not verify the claims. Quote, "I felt like I would remember that, and I don't. I have a lot going on, but I mean, that's something that would definitely stick in my mind," he said.
No shit. I feel like any father would remember any kind of drive where they drive 5 hours to pick up their kid. Again, I'm not a parent, but I do have my own parents. I know people who are parents. They would fucking remember their kid going on a 5-hour drive across New York and then picking them up afterwards.
When we asked the woman about the contradictions in a phone interview on Friday, she said that she stands by her statements. "I have made some mistakes," she said. "Honestly, what is the clearest is what happened to me." The inconsistencies in her account of an incident alleged to have happened 24 years ago does not necessarily mean the allegations are false. The accuser's attorney, Tony Busby, said, "Because we have interrogated her intensely, she has even agreed to submit to a polygraph. This has been extremely distressing for her, to the point she has experienced seizures and had to seek medical treatment due to the stress." In a statement to NBC News, Sean Carter said, "This incident didn't happen, and yet he filed it in court and doubled down in the press. True justice is coming. We fight from victory, not for victory."
Is any part of you scared coming out against such powerful people?
Yeah, I'm scared of what could happen, but I'm more afraid of letting it eat me alive from the inside out than I am of, being chastised by their fans.
All right, Chloe Malas joining us now live. Chloe, we just heard a very strongly worded statement from Jay-Z.
Alright, so that is the full clip. Again, I will link to this article down below. I highly recommend you watch it on your own. Make your own assumptions. Don't go out on my opinion or anybody else's opinion. Again, this is a serious topic. Let's read this article now. An Alabama woman who accused Jay-Z and Diddy of assaulting her when she was 13 years old sat down with NBC News to recount what she called a catastrophic event. a limo ride to a White House. Again, why? Again, I know this is happening now. I know it did happen, but like, this woman randomly found Diddy's limo driver immediately, and let's read this. White House, a drink made her feel woozy. A assault by rap stars then happened that would ruin her life. But the woman and her lawyers also acknowledged that there were some inconsistencies in her account in response to the questions from NBC News. I have made some mistakes in recollections of that night. The woman identified as Jane Doe in the lawsuit filed against Jay-Z and Diddy told NBC News the woman said she stands by her allegations overall. The inconsistencies in her account of the incident, alleged to have happened 24 years ago, do not necessarily mean the allegations are false. Absolutely, absolutely. I want to say this. Just because there are inconsistencies doesn't mean the story is bullshit. But, again, what fucking parent is like, oh yeah, you're 13, you can go on a 5-hour drive across New York to attend the MTV Awards? Who? What parent, especially today? I know this is in the 2000s. It was different back then. I don't even think my own parents, if they told my grandparents when they were 13, yeah, I'm taking a 5-hour drive. I'm going to an award show. Be back later. Among the inconsistencies, the woman said her father picked her up after the alleged assault. Again, his father picked her up right after. Drove 5 hours right after. Conveniently was there to pick her up. But he says he doesn't recall that. The woman also claims she spoke to a celebrity at the after party, where she said she was assaulted, but the celebrity said he was not in New York at the time. And images from that evening show Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter, and Sean Diddy Combs at a different location than the one the woman described. Although their whereabouts for the entire evening was unclear, this incident didn't happen, Carter told NBC in a statement Friday, and yet he filed it in court and doubled down in the press. He added, referring to one of the woman's attorneys, Tony Busby, "True justice is coming. We fight from victory, not for victory." This was over before it began. This 1-800 lawyer doesn't realize it yet, but soon. Busby says he is continuing to vet her claims. Jane Doe's case was referred to our firm by another who vetted prior to sending it to us. He told NBC News in an email, "Our client remains fiercely adamant that she has stated is true. What she has stated is true to the best of our memory. We will continue to vet her claims and collect corroborating data to the extent it exists. Because we have interrogated her intensely, she has even agreed to submit a polygraph. I've never had a client suggest that before." In any event, he added, "We always do our best to vet each claim made, just as we did in this case. This has been extremely distressing for her, to the point she has experienced seizures and had to seek medical attention due to the stress." That's not good to you. That's not good to you. I hope she's doing fine. The allegations against Carter suggested a seismic shift, potentially linking the rap legend to the alleged behavior laid out in civil and criminal cases against Combs, who is in a Brooklyn jail awaiting for trial on federal sex trafficking and racketeering charges. Carter's, oh my god, NBC, learn how to write articles. Carter's attorney, also Alex Bill, said, "It is stunning that a lawyer would not only file such a serious complaint without proper vetting, but would make things worse by further peddling this false story in the press. We are asking the court to dismiss this frivolous case today, and we will take a matter of additional discipline for Mr. Busby and all the lawyers that filed the complaint." Combs' attorney called the suit a shameful money grab. Busby has filed more than 20 lawsuits against Combs. The lawsuit was originally filed in October in the Southern District of New York, listing Combs as a defendant, and it was refiled Sunday to name Carter as another defendant. NBC News traveled to Houston to interview the woman, who declined to be identified, at her attorney's office earlier this week. "You should always fight for what happened to you," she said about why she was going public with her accusations now. "You should always advocate for yourself and be a voice for yourself. You should never let what somebody else did ruin or run your life. I just hope I can give others the strength to come forward like I came forward." Okay, I'm going to finish the article before I start. The woman, who is now 38, told NBC News she was living in Rochester, New York in 2000 and attended the VMAs on my bucket list at 13. It was like, oh my gosh, one of those things that I've got to do. She said she snuck out a window to evade her parents. Okay, so she did sneak out. She did sneak out. Alright. A friend drove her to Radio City Music Hall in New York City. She said in the lawsuit, people thronged into viewing areas outside the venue, which was decked out for the awards. Crowds roared when J-Lo arrived. Eminem performed on the street. She didn't have a ticket and said in the suit she watched some of the show on a jumbotron outside. She also started chatting up limo drivers. "I'm trying to get into try to stay back and get to an after party and get invited in and meet some celebrities," she said. She told NBC News. One limo driver said he worked for Combs and that she fit what Diddy was looking for, the suit said, and he told her to return later and he'd take her to an after party. After about 20 minutes in the limo, she said in the suit, she arrived at a large white residence with a gated U-shaped driveway. She said in the suit, she signed a document that she didn't read. Inside, she told NBC News, "I'm talking to like Fred Durst, Benji Madden, about his tattoo, because you know about his tattoo, that's the Last Supper, because I have a religious background, so it was just something to talk about." After accepting a drink from a waitress, she told NBC, "I started feeling funny, tried to start looking for a place to lie down. She found an empty room with a bed," she said in the street, and soon after Combs, Carter, and a woman entered the room. "You are ready to party," Combs said, according to the suit. Both Combs and Carter assaulted her, she said. Jay-Z comes over, holds me down. I start trying to push away. He puts his hands over my mouth, telling me to stop, to cut the shit, and then he assaults me like he had me overpowered. She said. Afterwards, she said she managed to flee the house and ran to a gas station. I was upset. Again, I'm pretty sure this is in the winter too. So, she fled to a random gas station in the winter at 13. Already snuck out of her house to go to this party. I was upset, and the person at the gas station could tell that I was obviously upset, and she let me use the phone. I called my dad because he was the only person I trusted at the time. I told him I messed up and I needed a ride home. She told NBC. We rode home in silence. He didn't ask me what happened. He didn't ask me what I did or where I was. How did his father pick up his daughter 5 or 6 hours away from home in a different part of New York and not kill her? Just dead silence for a 5-hour car ride. You don't say anything during the car ride? Again, I'm not trying to victimize her, but this story is outrageous. She told NBC News she never told anyone about the alleged assault or wrote it down in a diary. Even if somebody found out who was gonna believe me, I mean, it was to the word of 2 celebrities against mine, she said. The years after we were hard, she said. I got severely depressed. I withdrew completely. My grades started slipping, and she dropped out of school. She experienced homelessness, she said, and at one point suffered a head injury. She and her father also said she was assaulted later in life. I'm sorry to hear that. Again, that's a crime nobody should go through. Nobody should go through. She now has 2 children, a son and a daughter. She served less than a year in the Army National Guard and left with the rank of private. She got her high school diploma and got my Christian counseling certification so that I can help people who've gone through what I've gone through, she said. She also said she has her applied behavior analysis certification so she can help people with autism, which she says there are so little resources to moms that don't have the proper amount of income, she said. Reaction was swift in the days since a woman went public with their allegations against Carter. The rapper released a statement calling their claims idiotic and heinous in nature, and sharply criticizing her attorney. There are some inconsistencies in her story about the night. Her father told NBC that he does not recall picking her up after the alleged attack, casting doubt on key details in the lawsuit. According to the address at the time, her father would have driven more than 5 hours from their home to pick her up. 5 hours. I know I keep saying 5 hours, but what parent is going to let their kid go to the MTV Awards 5 hours away at 13? He said, I feel like I would remember that, and I don't. He said in an interview Thursday, I have a lot going on, but I mean, that's something that would definitely stick in my mind. The woman's father, who said he learned of the alleged assault this week, added that he did remember once picking her up in the middle of the night, but he said it was a local drive. which I would assume makes more sense than a 5-hour drive across New York. Asked about her father's account in a follow-up on Friday, the woman said she stood by her claims that he had picked her up and that it's possible he had misremembered. There's no way a father would not remember a 10 plus hour drive picking up their kid across New York. One of the biggest states in the world, one of the biggest cities in the world. You would remember that, especially if that's your young daughter. There's a lot of things in this is stuff that we argue about constantly. Something he said or did back in New York around that time period, he just doesn't remember. She said, it actually causes a lot of fights sometimes in the household. Regarding her father's recollection, Bosley told NBC News, we agree he states he doesn't remember. His daughter explains that he was in no state to remember during that point in time due to personal issues he was having then. We are talking about a time frame more than 20 years ago. You would remember a 10-hour drive picking up your kid all the way across New York. Nobody can convince me that any parent would not remember a 10-hour drive picking up their kid across an entire state. There's no fucking way. There is absolutely no way, unless your father is completely fucking incompetent, there is no way he doesn't remember this. The woman also told NBC News that she spoke with musician Benji Madden at the after party, but a representative for Madden confirmed that neither Benji nor his brother Joel attended the 2000 VMAs, and that they were on tour in the Midwest at the time. The woman did not accuse the brothers of any wrongdoing. Honestly, what is requires is what happened to me and the route that I took to what happened to me. Not all of the faces there are as clear, the woman said in the Friday follow-up interview. So I have made some mistakes. I may have made a mistake and identified. That is massive. That is massive. Especially in this case of Diddy. This guy, even if he gets out of prison, he will never be able to go into the public eye. He will never be able to show his face anywhere, whether he is exonerated or not. The woman also could not provide further information about the after party she attended. Professional images viewed by NBC News shows Combs and Carter were among the celebrities who attended a VMA's after party at the Lotus nightclub in New York. It is not clear what time those images were taken or if Combs and Carter attended any other after parties. The building that housed Lotus, now closed, does not match the description of the house the woman described in the lawsuit and interview. I didn't know exactly where we were going or even how long it took. The woman said when asked Tuesday where she thought she was taken that night, she added that she had guessed about the length of time the trip had taken in the lawsuit. So another 5-hour drive? Like, okay. When I was your age, I didn't leave the fucking house, dude. I just played Grand Theft Auto religiously. Like, that was my entire life. I would go to school sometimes, and I'd get home, play GTA until like 3 or 4 in the morning. This kid is traveling all around New York by herself with her friend. Well, again, her friend that has a car. Bobsby said, "We have attempted to confirm the correct location. We have never suggested the location was the Rotary Club. Our client has been very specific and detailed about the description of the venue she says she was taken to, and she has never stated it was the Rotary Club." He added, "We won't speculate on whether there was an after party because again, she doesn't know that. Also among the woman's allegations that could not be corroborated is how she made it to New York City that night." The one thing I've been screaming this entire video. How the hell does this 13-year-old kid make it from Rochester, New York, all the way down to New York City? One of her attorneys provided NBC News with the name and birth date of her friend she said had drove her, who would have been 20 at the time. What 20-year-old is hanging out with a 13? I know it happens, I guess. What 20-year-old is like, you know what? Fuck it. Well, let's go to the MTV VMAs. And then this friend didn't go with her? So this friend is a shitty friend. She just left you there as a 13-year-old in New York. Like, this isn't fucking Home Alone here. The person appeared to have since died. NBC News attempts to reach the person's relatives were unsuccessful. Dude. This woman's story fell to shit. Again, I have no doubt that she has some kind of trauma here. The way she used autism as an excuse, like, again, I've been around autism my entire life. I'm pretty sure I have a version of it. I haven't been diagnosed with it. But dude, what parent would not remember a 10-hour drive after the kid snuck out, did a 5-hour drive all the way to New York City? Like, this is unbelievable. But I mean, we'll have to see what comes from this. I feel like this case is done though. Not saying Jay-Z is innocent. We still have months to go in this Diddy case, and I feel like a lot more people are exposed. You have to take into account that Diddy and Jay-Z have been best friends for something like over 30 years, 25 years if I'm wrong. But yeah, that's all I got. Let me know in the comments, what did you think about this situation? I will leave this article link in the description so you can watch the interview yourself. I watched it multiple times before recording this. But again, I think this story is fucking ridiculous. Let me know your opinion in the comments down below. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff, and yeah, later.